Hello, hello, everybody. Welcome back to Tuesday. Let me go ahead and get this recorded. Welcome back, guys. I'm so super excited to dive in here with you. It's been an amazing day. We're going to be diving into the 5 places that coaches are getting stuck on their way to 6 figures. So, I've been doing this for a long time. I've been in the entrepreneur world for over 30 years. And one of the things that I have been noticing is a pattern that I see coaches who are doing great. I'm going to share the things that they're doing that they're like, oh my gosh, they're skyrocketing, like their business is doing so good. But I also see at the same time coaches that continuously are struggling. Maybe they have started a business, maybe they are just starting, maybe they're in the first year or so, but there's lots of you out there that also might be struggling with your business that have been in business for 3 years, 5 years, heck, even more, right? So I want to share some specifics with you guys today on why most coaches are getting stuck on their way to 6 figures and then what we're going to do about it. So we're absolutely going to help you have some specific things so that you can start taking action and getting out of this stuckness, right? So I'm so excited to be here for this conversation with you guys because honestly, I think it's one of the most important conversations we need to be having in the coaching industry right now. Because I genuinely do not believe that many of you are struggling because you're not smart enough, or you're not talented enough, or you're not capable enough, or you don't have enough certifications, right? I really think that in today's age, at least this is what I'm hearing, not only with, people who are booking conversations with me or having holistic business audits, but also many of my colleagues are feeling overwhelmed. They're feeling under-supported. They are in this constant realm of over-consuming information and trying to build a business that truly I don't feel was ever sustainable to begin with in the first place. So a few years ago, I started noticing a pattern of my clients that were getting the best results inside of Activate Abundance Academy or 6 Figure Foundations, and the ones that weren't getting such, best results as the other ones, right? They were still getting results, but they weren't like getting the knock it out of the park results. And so I started taking a look at things and I'm like, okay, because this is the way my business brain works, how can I help the people get quicker results, better results with as least stress as possible? And so I started taking a look at who were the people that were getting amazing results. And what I noticed was that it was not the number of certifications they had. It was not that they had the largest followers on Instagram or TikTok or even the biggest Facebook group. It's that they stayed in motion. It also, it wasn't also that we had like these fancy funnels. It was like, okay, I've got like these 52 lead magnets and these 62-point fancy funnels and tripwires. Like, y'all, that's way too complicated, all right? So what were the ones doing that were getting the absolute best results is that they were implementing and they were staying supported long enough to have somebody help them navigate the nuances as they grow. They stayed visible, they stayed connected, they stayed in motion, taking action, they stayed in the room, and they stayed taking action even when things weren't instantly perfect. And I want to triple click on that because that's one thing that I've learned over the years. And honestly, I think it is one of my superpowers. Sometimes it serves me well, sometimes it doesn't. But I would say 90% of the time, this is one of my superpowers. And this is, you know what? I have an idea and I take action on it. Because if I don't take action, if I am sitting on the fence thinking, I don't know, maybe this, maybe this, maybe this won't work. Look at all the ways that, oh my gosh, I can start talking myself out of something that could be like one of the best needle movers in my business or one of the golden nuggets or gems that actually propels my business forward. So staying in action is something that has really, really benefited me because I see it as an experiment. I don't see it as, oh my gosh, what if this doesn't work? I see this as, let me try this thing and see how it does work so that then I can say, okay, great, this part worked. We're keeping this part, meh, we'll tweak it. This part, nope, taking it out, right? So I really want to talk today about why this matters so much, because if you are feeling overwhelmed, if you're feeling inconsistent, if you are stuck in overthinking, if you are exhausted trying to piece your business together, on your own, or frustrated that maybe you have bought courses in the past, or have gone through programs, or have worked with a coach, and you still don't have consistent clients, I really want you to know that this training is for you. So come give me a hello wherever it is that you are. If you are on Facebook, let me know. Say hashtag live with a big capital F. If you are joining me live on Substack, hello. I'm so glad you're here. Pop a hello and a capital S. And if you are watching on YouTube, I'm so glad you guys are here. So give me a hello in the chat so I can circle back around and say hello back. I promise it's me. It's not my team member. It's not my assistant. It's not a bot. It will actually be me. So part one of our training today that is super important to get dialed in is understand one of the reasons why coaches are getting stuck is because they think that more information is going to help them build their business. And here's what I mean by that. I'm not talking that they don't need strategy or they don't need to learn strategy and get systems in place. That's not the type of information I'm talking about. What I'm talking about is this lie that once I learn enough and get another certification or feel ready, then I'll succeed. And so what I see happening is people will buy a course and not finish it. But they buy it anyways because they think that, well, once I, get all of this information, then I'll actually be ready, right? Or they'll get their certification and think, great, I just need one more certification. I'm a health coach now, let me get my life coach certification. I'm a life coach now, let me get my energy work certification. Not that there's anything wrong with more certifications or more modalities. It's just that you don't want to be using that as the excuse for why you're not building a business. And what I see a lot of coaches happening, especially in the first 5 years of their business, is that they think they have to stay in learning mode. Let me take this course, let me get this certification again. And what ends up happening is that they don't actually implement the strategy and the needle movers that are going to make a difference in having them enroll clients in their business, right? Instead, they will go through something and then they'll say, okay, I'm done. Thanks a bunch. And I'm now I'm just going to do it on my own. Or they think that they need, to build another funnel, or let me build, yet another lead magnet, or let me just join this extra, master class before I take action. So there's nothing wrong with master classes. There's nothing wrong with, creating a workbook or a lead magnet. However, when you are waiting because you feel that you need any of these things, more information, another certification, tweaking the website, all of that, what that's doing is it's actually hindering your process. Now, if you don't have a process and you don't have a strategy, absolutely, you have to get a strategy dialed in. You have to know what are the action takers and the needle movers, but then you have to do something with it, right? You have to implement. So this is what I mean by information alone does not build a business, right? You can learn and read a book and, learn all of the things, right? A book is information. You could go buy a business book, read it, but that doesn't mean you're actually going to get, the results, right? Because if you don't have the right strategy, you don't have access to support to help you answering your questions, then chances are you're probably going to get stuck. So information alone does not build a business. Implementation of the information that you're learning is what builds a business. That's why whenever I do multi-day workshops, I absolutely say, pop in the chat, please, if you are going to do something with the information. And so I'm going to ask you guys to do the same thing. This will not help you. This training will not help you if you don't do something with the information that I'm giving you today, right? If you don't do anything with it, it's just information. Okay. So I want everybody to pop in the chat a capital C for commit. I'm going to do something with it, or pop action in the chat, so that I know that you're like, yep, I'm going to take action. So here's what else we know builds success: consistency. Consistency builds a business. Consistency, showing up even when you don't feel like it, even when it feels wonky, even when it feels like I'm not 100% sure if this is going to work. Okay, that's fine. But we have to be consistent and show up on a daily basis. Visibility builds a business. If you're not visible in front of where your ideal client is hanging out, they can't find you. They won't have an opportunity to learn how they can get off Pain Island and start getting results and live happier, healthier lives with you. Relationships create a business. not just posting content. Posting content is a piece of the larger puzzle. It's a piece of your marketing. It's a piece of being visible. But if you are not doing something with the relationships that you are building and that you're seeing with people that are raising their hand, asking for your freebie, showing up to your lives, coming to your workshops, meeting them at the networking, if you are not building those relationships, that content can only go so far. Okay. And conversations also build a business, right? That's one of the things that's so, so important. The more conversations that you can have, the better. And yet, I see so many coaches getting stuck here. They don't invite people into having just a simple conversation. And the reason why that happens is because I don't know about you, but I was taught a very outdated method of building and growing my business, which is just go book a gazillion discovery sessions and sell your 90-day program in that one discovery session, right? So just give away an hour of free coaching and take them through the specific discovery session script. And by the end, you'll make an offer and they will either say yes or they'll say no. And you'll have to try to overcome all the objections in order to try to get them to say yes. And it just feels awful, right? So that's not the type of conversation that I'm talking about. I'm talking about real human conversations where you can just say, hey, thank you so much for showing up on my live. How are you? Hey, thank you so much for being in my Facebook group. Hey, it's so great to meet you today. Is there anything that I can support you with? Sharing a resource. These are conversations where you're actually getting into what I like to call a game of catch back and forth, just being a real person. We're not even inviting anybody to work with us yet. We're just getting in that conversation first. Okay. And then trust builds a business. Trust, right? So when we are in these conversations, that is how we are starting to build trust. Because the truth is, cold leads strangers cannot buy. And what we know today is it takes at least 11 hours of long form content before people who are watching you and seeing you and in your world and in your ecosystem feel like they are ready to make a purchase from you. So if you are not showing up and creating trust, either in conversations or in sharing some form of long form content, then that 11 hours is taking a long time for somebody who first comes into your world. Maybe it's taking them 6 months, 9 months, 12 months because they don't have you serving them really, really powerfully. So we have to build trust. So just a reminder, this isn't about gathering more information, right? Most of you don't have an information problem. You have an implementation problem. You're not taking action on the information that you've got. So we have to start doing that. You probably have a consistency problem, right? Where you're like, well, I'll show up today and maybe not tomorrow, right? Maybe even a visibility problem. You're not sure where your ideal client is, or you're a little nervous about sharing or posting or doing a talk or getting in front of your ideal client. You might also have a support problem, right? So if you are not in a experience with a mentor or a coach that's helping you along the way, chances are you have a support problem because you don't know what it is that you don't know. And you can't navigate the nuances of building and growing a business if you don't have support. And then the final thing that I see is that many coaches have an emotional capacity problem, especially when we're trying to do it on our own. We get overwhelmed. We're not sure what to do. We get confused. That confusion creates this emotional stress response in our body, which leads us to then shrink and contract. And so we have this emotional capacity problem that doesn't actually help us make decisions quickly and implement. Okay. So what we need when we're building our business are a couple things, and I'm definitely going to share these with you in just a minute. But to recap, when you are building your business, building a beautiful boutique business to 6 figures and beyond requires leadership. It requires emotional resilience, right? We have to build that capacity. It requires making decisions and discernment. It takes consistency, which we talked about. It takes visibility. And oh my gosh, you guys, it absolutely takes support. Most of you, when you're first starting, try to hold all of this alone. And let me tell you, that's a very, very heavy weight to hold. I have actually been in the coaching, I've been an entrepreneur for over 30 years, and I've always had some sort of support. I've been in the coaching world since 2015. And when I first hired my business coach in 2017, that's when things started picking up and going quickly. And I have had a business coach ever since then. And I've also had a mindset coach and a book coach and a nutrition coach. Like, I know that I can't read the label when I'm inside the bottle. And what I've learned that's gotten me to where I am right now, I still need to work with somebody who's further down the freeway to help me navigate the nuances of building and growing my business. So I want you to think of this kind of like you're, whitewater rafting and you're going down a river, right? You would never go to a strange river and just pop your boat in and just say, I don't know, like we're just going, right? Without having the proper tools, without having the helmet, without having the life jacket, right? What we want is if, and I don't know about you, but if I go whitewater rafting, I'm going to have a guide in the back that knows that river like the back of her hand. She knows where the dangers are. She knows where the boat might capsize. She knows where it's safe to pull out. Her job is going to help me move down that river as quickly and as fun as I possibly can, right? So that is what coaching is doing for you. That's what having support and mentorship is doing for you. Otherwise, we're getting all beat up on the way down that river, y'all, right? So part two is four very, very specific mistakes that coaches are making that are keeping them stuck before they even hit six figures. Sometimes this happens after you've hit six figures and then you start to slide backwards. So I want you to start listening for these. I'm going to share four of them. Okay. So number one is, and we talked about this already, but again, this is an important topic, over consuming instead of implementing, right? It's not that information is bad. It's that if you're over consuming and you're staying in learning mode and you're never implementing and you're waiting for the perfect strategy or the perfect tactic, instead of fully implementing and going all in on one strategy long enough for it to work, like let me underline that and bold it. You have to stick with something, a strategy and a system long enough for it to work. We have to navigate the nuances of building and growing our business. So most business growth, which is really, really cool, is actually really repetitive. When we take a look at the foundational pieces, the revenue generators that help you build and grow your business to six figures, multiple six figures, however much you want to grow, it actually comes down to some very few and selective actions. Number one, visibility, right? We talked about that. If your people don't know you, they can't find you. Number two, nurturing and building those connections. Number three, having conversations with people and building that know, like, trust. Number four, actually inviting people to work with you, right? Like these are the implementation pieces, right? Following up, right? How many times have you followed up with somebody, right? Maybe you made the offer and they didn't get back to you. Well, did you follow up? One of the statistics that we know in the marketing world is that it actually takes about 4 to 8 follow-ups before somebody actually says yes. So 80% of your sales are actually going to come up in the follow-ups. So if you know that saying, the fortune is in the follow-up, this is true. And then repeat these pieces consistently, right? We want to get in front of our ideal clients, share what it is that we do, how it is that we can help them, create those relationships, create those wins, nurture. After they've been nurtured, after we're in conversations, then we can invite them to explore having support. After we invite them or have a conversation, then we can follow up and say, hey, would you like to hop on another call? Or what did you think? Or what have you decided? Or how can I help you move forward? But what we don't want to do is endlessly keep reinventing things with a new tactic, learning a new program. We want to stay committed to the method that you're learning and honing it so it works like a well-oiled machine. So I'm going to speak into something and talk a little bit of truth for those of you that have ever gone through a coaching program and said, okay, that program's done. I'm just going to try to do the rest on my own. I'm just going to take all the information that I learned and now I'm just going to do it on my own, right? Like, thank you so much. Look, y'all, this actually is one of the biggest mistakes that I see in my world and in my colleagues' world is understanding or not understanding that the information that you have is not going to help you get where it is that you want unless you actually have support implementing it. right? You have to take action and then have the support to navigate the nuances. Building and growing a business is never linear, right? There's going to be ups and downs, there's going to be seasons, there's going to be flow. And if you don't have support and you've got somebody that is helping you to hold this emotional capacity, helping you to believe in yourself, helping you to stand up again when something didn't go the way that you wanted it to, or to refine your offers or refine your ideal client or get really clear about things, right? Then what ends up happening is that we just stay in our head and we end up ruminating or ruminating around things and creating future problems that don't exist. And then we're back to square one. So I have seen this happen so many times where somebody has finished a program, they've said, let me just, do it on my own. And then all of a sudden they start going backwards. Okay. The second mistake that you might be making on your way to six figures or beyond is inconsistent visibility. Okay. People cannot hire you if they cannot find you, and they can't trust you. They won't trust you if they rarely see you. Okay. So, visibility is not about, hey, look at me, I'm so great. It's not about vanity. It's actually about service. It's actually about showing up and sharing something so that people can have an aha or an insight or an epiphany or a win, right? It's how you're actually helping them, right? Your audience, your community, the people that you are here, that you've got on your heart to serve, they need repeated exposure. They need to see and hear from you over time, repeatedly, and know, who are you? What do you do? How can you help them specifically with whatever problem they have? What is it about, the industry that you're in or your life or the world that you believe? And why do you feel that your work matters? So this consistency of showing up isn't just about being visible. It's about frequency. It's about repeated exposure, being visible long enough so that you can build that know, like, trust, so that people really understand, who are you? What is it that you do? How can you help them? What do you believe? And why does the work that you do to help them solve that result really, really matter? Okay. Mistake number three, we covered this, trying to build alone, right? Women who grow the fastest are actually not isolated. What I see, the ones that go the fastest, the ones that are coming through and being like, oh, I'm stuck here, but then they're moving forward very, very quickly. They have mentorship, but they also have community. They have accountability. They have environments that help them take action. And they have rooms that they're in where they stay activated. So if you are in isolation and trying to do this on your own and trying to figure it out, that actually slows momentum drastically. Okay, so I want to just notice if you're here, and I want you to realize that when you have the community and the support to help you implement consistently, you're actually going to go further a heck of a lot quicker. Okay, number four. Well, this is a good one. Building a business model that you secretly hate. Has anybody done that? You're like, well, so and so told me that I have to do this, and so I'm going to try to do this, right? Look, you do not have to build a business on a model that doesn't work for you, that is causing you to feel overwhelmed, that is causing you to feel burned out, that is causing you to feel like, you know what, I just don't even like doing this work anymore. So this is a mistake. When you are trying to build your business, a lot of times you are seeing what the gurus are saying as successful, right? And you got to hit this number in order to be successful. Well, you're not really successful unless you have consistent 50K months. Well, and then there you hit that, and then you're like, well, nope, you're actually not really successful unless you hit six figures, unless you've hit seven figures. Now it's, you're not really successful unless you've hit eight figures. And look, this requires giant team models, complicated funnels, hustling, and to be a constant content factory. And I'm just a no for that, right? So we want to create visibility and your business model with your offers in a way that works for you. And what the conversations that I'm having with about 80% of the people that are even my colleagues are, they actually want a profitable boutique business. And I'm going to tell you what boutique means. So when you have a boutique business, you have a very lean team, maybe a part-time VA, right? Maybe a couple team members, but it's very, very lean. So you're not spending a whole bunch of your revenue on making payroll or spending all of this income that's going out versus coming in and letting you keep it in your bank account. Okay. The other thing that I see my clients wanting that want boutique businesses, and look, I have a boutique business as well. A boutique business is making 100K to 500K a year. Okay, so that's a good rule of thumb. If you are somewhere between 100K and 500K, or if that is where you want to be, then you are looking at building a beautiful boutique business that's highly profitable. You are having meaningful client relationships. You feel that you've got some spaciousness. Things feel simple. It feels sustainable. You've got some flexibility in there, and you also have time freedom. So that's what I'm all about. And that's why I teach building a boutique business differently. It's not the same, oh, well, just create this thing and do this thing. I actually really believe that most women, in the coaching industry, they don't necessarily want big empires. And when I took a look behind the scenes of many, many coaches that were making seven figures, multiple seven figures, what I saw was that the amount of money that they were actually taking home was very, very low. I remember one time I was talking to somebody, and their take home pay after all of the expenses was about 15%. So expenses, taxes, right? You have to automatically account for 15% of your revenue going towards taxes, right? So there we're down to, just after taxes, if you weren't even paying for any software, any coaching, or any support, or any VA help, we're already looking at, 15% off the top, right? So when you're building a boutique business, what we're looking at is having a revenue that's 50%, 60%, 70% around there, right? So that you are keeping more of what it is that you are making. And this is very, very different than what it is that you might be seeing online with the influencers or with the big giant coaching, businesses that have lots of team and multiple portfolios and lots of different companies, right? The boutique model that I teach actually focuses on relationship-led growth. Now, there are some really good coaches out there that also teach relationship-led growth, and so I'm not the only one that teaches relationship-led growth. But I think that relationship-led growth, especially in today's world, is so, so important because people, again, want to see you. They want to know you. What do you stand for? What is it that you like? Do you resonate with the person or not, right? I also teach simple offers, right? My clients that work with me, whether they're working with me inside of Activate Abundance Academy or Six Figure Foundations, we create a very simple offer suite. So we want to make sure that we've got a high ticket, mid ticket, low ticket offer that creates your six-figure business. When you've got simple offers, then you're actually able to say, okay, great, this is what I'm focusing on this month. This is what I'm focusing on the next month. This is going to be a good fit for this type of client when they are struggling with this component. If somebody, wants more support, this is an opportunity for them. So having a really simple offer suite is super, super important. Also, being visible with a purpose, right? I'm not here just to say, hey, come look at me. When I am visible, I am sharing something that is valuable. It's either something that's educational, something that's helping you to have hope, helping you to feel more dedicated and convicted to the reason why you're here in the coaching world in the first place. It's visibility with a purpose. Trust building, we already covered that already. Rooms and conversations. This is something that I'm actually going to be teaching in July at my in-person retreat here in Charlotte called Rooms That Convert. When we are cultivating communities and being in rooms and having conversations, that allows us to build a very, very sustainable business because we're also collaborating, leveraging other people's audiences, going to the places where we can connect and collaborate, feel seen, feel supported, be in a room, build a community, have a hub, right? These are all amazing things that are going to support sustainable marketing. It supports soulful sales. It supports high value client experiences and implementation over complexity. Whenever I start feeling like, whoa, I got a lot going on, what am I focusing on today? I always come back to the basics. And there's four basics that I teach inside of all of my programs. And that is, what am I doing today to attract somebody new into my ecosystem? Where am I going to be visible so that somebody can know that I'm open for business and that I am creating some sort of value? Right? So attract is number one, nurture is number two. Who am I reaching out to who's already in my ecosystem? Who am I reaching out? Have I said, hey, I'm so glad you're here. Thank you so much for being a subscriber to my Substack. Thank you so much for coming into my Facebook group. Thank you so much for watching the live today, right? Nurturing is being able to share value and connect with the people who are already in your ecosystem. Number three is connect, reaching out one to one to actually say, I see you, I hear you, I've got something that can support you. Maybe I'll grab a podcast episode that might help them. Maybe I'll share a free handout. Maybe I'll hop on a 15-minute holistic business audit to just help them create a win or help them kind of, solve that piece that they're struggling with, right? So and then the final thing, of course, is inviting people to work with you. So number four is making those invitations. And my clients make one invitation every single day, sometimes more depending on what their goals are. But even if you were to only start by making one invitation every single day to the people that you've already nurtured and connected with, you would be so much further down the freeway than many of the coaches that are posting and waiting for people to just comment or message them from a post, and they're expecting that post or just their social media to do all of the heavy lifting. That's marketing. That's actually not sales. So we really want to make sure that we are in these conversations and making those invitations. That's part of your sales system. So you don't need 1 million followers. You don't need a giant team. You don't need even constant launches. I launch 4 times a year. I launch once every single quarter. You don't need 17 funnels. You need clarity. You need to feel confident in what it is that you've got and have your foundations dialed in. You need visibility so people can find you consistently so that people can see you over time repeatedly. Trust, conversations, invitations, and support. So let me kind of recap everything that we talked about today and simplify it. We're going to take a look at just of those, 4 main areas that we talked about already, right? So the client attraction, you want to have some clarity when you're showing up and you're being visible so that you've got clear positioning. You have messaging that's actually speaking chocolate, not broccoli, right? We tend to talk broccoli when we're first starting our coaching business, the language of broccoli, which is, well, you need to eat the broccoli. Someone saying, I really want to, feel like I've got lots of energy and, go hiking on the weekends with my family. And you're like, well, you got to eat the broccoli. Well, that's not what she's asking for, right? She's asking for more energy, but we tend to give them the things that we know are going to make a difference, but we're not actually listening to what is the chocolate. So we have to have clear positioning, clear messaging. We want to have clear offers, right? That 3-tier offer suite that is really, really important to serve people wherever it is that they are. And we want to have a clear understanding of our ideal client. If we don't know who it is that we're serving, if we don't know the problem, the one main problem that our ideal client wants solved, then we can't speak chocolate, and our messaging and our positioning is going to be off. Okay. So remember, confused messaging, it creates confused buyers. And your confusion also creates confusion for your people. So if you're not clear and you're feeling confused, then they're also going to energetically feel that. There's going to be some energetic and emotional dissonance there. They're not going to feel even safe to buy. So getting clear on these things with your ideal client and your offers and your messaging and your positioning is super important so that you show up feeling really grounded and confident, and you can actually speak to the people that need you. Then we want to get visible, right? So attract, people need to see you. They need to see your face. They need to hear your voice. They need to understand what type of leader you are. They need to understand what's your expertise. And they also want to know what your values are, right? And I think you can tell from my training today and my workshop today what my values are. It's based on relationships, right? It's about having spaciousness in my day. It's about having a boutique business model that serves the way that I want to live my life, not just chasing a seven figure or a multiple seven figure number because somebody else says that that's their version of success, right? So it's really important that you allow yourself to, share those values. Why? Because visibility, more people see you, the more people get to kind of hear you, even if they're not even commenting, that starts to build familiarity. And that familiarity, gosh, that's such a hard word for me to say, builds trust, right? It's repetition builds belief. One of my dear friends, Laura Mashington, she's a fantastic copywriter, and she did lots and lots of trainings for us inside of Activate Abundance for many, many years. Laura, if you are here watching this, I just adore you, and I hope you have an amazing time when you move to France. It was belief. Repetition builds belief, right? Repetition builds belief. And then the believers become buyers. Okay. So number three is relationships, right? We talked about nurturing and connecting, right? Whenever I felt like, what do I need to focus on? Come back to relationships. Who can I connect with who's already in my ecosystem, even if it's just to reach out and say, hi, how are you? Is there anything you need? Why? Because business is relational, not transactional. Yes, there is a transaction that happens at the end, but if you don't make it relational first, you won't ever get to that transaction at the end. So the women that are making consistent sales in their business, they're having conversations. They are nurturing people. They're following back up. They're building community and they are staying connected. Number four, implementation. We're going to come back to this again. I told you in the very beginning that I thought that this was one of the most important things that we need to focus on, right? You don't need more certifications. You need action, repetition, accountability, support, and doing this on repeat so that you actually create momentum. The women who keep implementing, the coaches that I support and that I serve in my program that are implementing and taking action, even when it feels wonky, even when it feels a little shaky, even when it feels imperfect, are the women who eventually win. They evolve and they grow as they take action. And look, I had to do the same thing too. When I first started, I wasn't comfortable going live. As a matter of fact, I joke with my clients, like literally the very first video I ever did, you didn't even see my face. I made like a smoothie, right? I had a functional nutrition background. I was growing my health coaching business and my functional nutrition business. And I decided, what could I do that might be valuable for people? And I'm like, well, I'll just share what a real smoothie looks like instead of a sugar bomb, right? And so I had all of my stuff and you saw the blender and you saw the ingredients, but you never saw my face. That's okay, but we have to start, right? So when you are doing it, you are growing, and then you're building confidence, right? So confidence doesn't come first. It's not like, oh yeah, I feel confident now. It's no, I have to do this on a repeat for a period of time, and then I feel confident, right? And when you do that, what ends up happening is that you learn what works, you understand what lands, what doesn't, and then you allow yourself to course correct without feeling guilty or shameful or, oh my gosh, I did it wrong. It's like, no, let me just try this thing, see what lands, see what doesn't, listen to my clients, see what it is that they're saying. Okay. And then the final thing is we want to make sure that you are having this support because support really changes everything. I know that I shared earlier that I've had a coach since 2017, absolutely 1000%. And I've actually had multiple coaches. What does support do? I can share what it does for me. It helps me move through doubt a whole heck of a lot quicker. If something is playing in the background and I'm like, oh, I don't know, should I do this? Should I do that? Should I do the other thing? When I have a conversation with my coach, that actually removes that doubt and it helps me get clarity and move through it quicker. It helps me stay in momentum longer. It helps me avoid any unnecessary mistakes. Why? Because remember the whitewater rafting trip? They can see and navigate the nuances. They know if I'm going to do something, they can say, you know what, Chris, have you thought about this part of this so that I'm not making any unnecessary mistakes? I'm not afraid of making mistakes, but I certainly don't want to make unnecessary mistakes that somebody could help me avoid if possible. I also get feedback with my coach, and it helps me to understand how I can stay visible, how I can stay connected, how I can build my own emotional resilience, and how I can still keep going even when things feel hard. Because the truth is, no matter what level you're at, whether you are just starting or whether you are making $10 million this year, yeah, you know this, things are going to feel hard sometimes. And if you don't have somebody there to talk truth over you and say, I've got you, and let's try this, and let's navigate this nuance this way, right? Then that is the time where you tend to burn everything down. You tend to tweak things. Gosh, I can't even tell you how many coaches I've seen that have burned down their business, 5, 10 different times trying something new, right? We have to keep going and stay committed to that. And this is why community also matters, right? So I didn't stop getting coached. I stayed with my coach, but I also stayed in community. I stayed coached once I hit consistent 10K months. I stayed coached once I hit my first $1 million in my business. I still stay coached today. And it is because I know the value of helping me to expand and to move through the things that are going to feel a little wonky and challenging, even when doubt creeps in. So, um, how to become more visible, more trusted, and more known. So I want to talk a little bit about this because this past week, last week, I did a video around visibility, and visibility is important, but there's a difference between posting 47 times a day, right? And actually what works. We're not trying to become internet famous, right? Look, there's nothing wrong if you want to and you want to be an influencer, that's fine. There's a whole lot of influencers that have a lot of followers that actually are not making a lot of money in their business either. So I'm not about chasing an algorithm constantly or posting 47 times a day, right? What works is, again, we're going to keep coming back why repetition builds belief, consistent visibility, relationship building, showing your face so that they can see you, sharing your message on repeat, creating rooms where people can experience you, right? For those of you that are on Facebook or watching me on YouTube and Substack, this is a room that you are in, whether you're in Substack or whether you're watching a replay from your home. This is a place where I am showing up so that you can see me, you can hear me, you can know and decide, do I like her? Do I not like her? Do I want to learn what it is that she's teaching, right? So creating those rooms where people can experience you is so, so important. And then building trust over time, because one of the things that I've learned is that trust compounds. Relationships compound. The relationships that you have today, you never know what doors they're going to open tomorrow, right? And your visibility compounds too, right? Somebody sees you once and then they see you again and they see you again, and that causes that familiarity and that visibility starts to compound. And then you start creating clients. You start having people that do reach out that say, I've been following you for years. I really would like to explore how I can have your support. So we're going to finish this up here. I would love to hear from you. Give me a yes or a capital Y in the chat if you've heard something that you realized was important. Maybe it was a new take. Maybe none of this that, I shared with you today was brand new, but maybe you heard it and just a little different. And there is something that you can take away. Because chances are you're not so far away from the momentum or the business that you want. Please hear me. I'm going to say this and please hear my heart. You do not need another certification or another 900-step funnel, okay? If you are not yet at 6 figures, or if you even are at 6 figures and you want to scale to that boutique business, 100K to 500K, this is what you need. You need to get clarity on your ideal client, your positioning, and your messaging. That's so, so important. I come back to this every single quarter, and I've been in business for a long time, y'all. So ideal client positioning and messaging shifts. It shifts through the seasons. People change. Like what somebody was struggling with in 2015 might not be what they're struggling with today. As a matter of fact, one of my amazing clients, Helen, she's a health coach and she helps women get off the diet roller coaster. And she also does some amazing strength training. I'm actually in her strength training program. So, yet another coach, somebody to help me build strength in my body. And she made a minor shift to now start talking about GLP-1s because times have changed. What she was teaching back in the day before GLP-1s came out, now she's seeing a whole bunch of her clients that are struggling to understand that world. So, when we come back to our ideal client every single quarter and we hear what is the problem, what is it that they're really struggling with, this is going to help you get clear on your positioning and messaging. Okay. Visibility, get in front of people, get in front of the right people so that they can find you, right? This isn't just about visibility for the sake of, hey, come look at me. I'm going to say that again. It is for getting in front of the people that you can help, right? Getting in front of the right clients, the people that are looking for the problem that they want solved, right? Implementation on the revenue generating actions that I shared with you. By the way, go ahead and pop action in the chat if you want my boutique business growth checklist. I'm happy to share it with you. This is going to help you with the revenue generating actions that are the most important to focus on, that attract, that nurture, that connect, and that invite. Okay. You need support to keep going when you feel like burning it all down, right? You need support to navigate the nuances. You need consistency, you need relationships, and you want to be in the room with mentorship and community. And we're going to come back to the beginning. Why? Because information alone does not build a business. Implementation does, support does, consistency does, relationships do. And if this is resonating with you at all, I'm going to share something that I think is going to be super, super helpful for you. I created something actually just a couple days ago. I was thinking about how could I help my people get results even quicker. And I decided to create the Build a Real Coaching Business Boutique Bundle. This is not another course. But this is actually something really, really special. This is a year of implementation support. This is for women who are ready to stop duct taping and popsicling sticking their business together and finally build a real coaching business with structure, with visibility, with momentum, with accountability, implementation so you're taking action, not just watching a video or downloading a workbook, learning how relationship-led marketing actually works, making more soulful sales, and ongoing support. So I'm going to share with you what is inside of this bundle because I think it's kick-ass. I'm just going to say it. I wish I would have had this. So inside of the bundle, you're going to get six-figure foundation. So this is my complete business building program that really helps you get clarity around those initial foundational things that we need. Your positioning, your ideal client, your offer suite, your signature system, and having a simple client pathway. Plus, you're going to get access to a whole 12 months of the Success Studio. And the Success Studio is where you're going to start implementing it. It's where you have on demand every single month. I'm going to be showing up live and doing a business training. As a matter of fact, today, because this is week 3 of each month, we had our networking group where everybody went into breakout rooms to leverage each other's audience, to share who it is that they are, what is it that they do, what are they looking for, what they could offer for support, and what they would like to have support. So you're going to have monthly live business trainings with me. You're going to have on-demand business trainings. If you're like, oh, I just want to go back and get a refresher here, or I want to learn, more soulful sales here. I want to learn what do I do with the leads that are in my ecosystem. You can learn a relationship management strategy. We also added, and I'm so, so excited, golden hour implementation co-working sessions. So twice a month, we're all going to get together and we're going to be implementing those revenue generators on repeat so that you can start feeling really good and confident about it. I already shared about our networking calls. We've got open Q&A calls. So every single month you can come, bring your questions. It's open Q&A so that I can help you navigate those nuances, right? So that you're not sitting on the fence. You're not in your head wondering, should I do this? Should I not do this? Should I price it this way? Should I not price it this way? What should my high ticket offer be? What should my mid ticket? What should my, like, I've got you there. Okay. We also have weekly pocket coaching. So that is something that you'll get every single week inside of your email that is going to give you an inspiration and a really small action step that you can take to start getting results quickly. We're going to give you access to the private podcast. So the Success Studio has its own podcast now, and that's where you can access any of the trainings, any of the recordings, so that you can listen while you're on a walk, right? You have that at your fingertips. And then we're also connected with a beautiful, loving, heart-centered community of women that are building real businesses together. So I put this bundle together specifically for Memorial Day, and I've added some really special bonuses that I want to make sure that you hear about. Number one is we are giving the bonus of the 40-day cash activation challenge. So that is inside of the Success Studio. We are putting that in there so that you get the 40-day cash activation challenge that teaches you how to create a cash injection in your business, a cash infusion anytime you need it. And the average that clients make are around 2K, 5K, 10K in 30 days or less, or 40 days or less. We're also giving you the Abundance Bundle, which is a bundle of mindset meditations, the daily alignment practice, how to stay empowered when you feel like giving up, like the things that are going to allow you to energetically stay in the alignment and the energy of abundance. And for the first 5 women that decide that they want this bundle, I am giving you a private fast track strategy session with me, because I truly believe that women grow faster when they stay supported. And so I want you to stay supported long enough so that you can also keep implementing. It's another reason why this is a full year of support. I don't want you in there just 1 month and trying something and getting frustrated that that didn't work. You need to try things long enough. You need to hone it. You need to master it. You need to get that on repeat so that you can start creating that momentum and results, right? Think about, training for a marathon. Your business is very, very similar. You don't just go once a week and then expect to run a marathon and give up because you get tired at mile 5, right? You show up every day, or you follow the plan and you build your muscle and you build your endurance and you hone and master, and you're tracking certain things so that you know, okay, I think I'm off track here, or I think I need to come back here. Like, that is what having mentorship and support for a good period of time is going to help you do. Okay, so I'm going to share with you the investment. So the total bundle value, all of this with the 40-day cash activation challenge, the abundance bundle, the private fast track strategy session with me, the year inside of the Success Studio, the coaching calls, the 6-figure foundations, all of it. When we add all this up, the value is well over $7,000. But for the Memorial Day special, we are inviting you to take advantage of it and get it for either just one payment of 5K, or you can make 12 payments of $497, which is an easy yes. You will be making that back easily with having the support and knowing the strategy that you need to implement so that you can bring consistent clients into your business. So if this is resonating with you, if you're done trying to build your business alone, if you're ready for structure, support, visibility, momentum, and consistent growth, right? We want a steady stream of paying clients. We don't want just like an amazing month 1 month and then a crappy month the next. If you want to build a profitable boutique coaching business that actually supports your life, then go ahead and comment boutique or give me a big capital B in the chat, or you can reach out to me privately, send me a message, and I will personally send you the details. And it will be me. Right? So whenever you comment, if you send me a message, if you reach out to me, you will get me. You will not get my assistant. You will not get somebody else. You will not get a bot that just sends you something. You will actually get me. So thank you so much, all of you, for being here. I'm so grateful for each and every one of you. I hope this is something that you could see that you were missing some specific pieces and that you can take one thing away from our training today and implement it. And I would love to know what that is, right? So go ahead and think about what's one thing that you learned today that was like, oh, yes, I totally feel that that is something that I need to get dialed in. Pop that in the chat for me. Let me know. I really want to know. I'm going to come back. I might even ask you some questions and help you get that dialed in. But I would love to know what is one place and one thing that you learned today that you're taking away and you're going to actually implement. Do something with the information. Okay. Do not stay sitting on the fence here, my friends. That does nothing, right? When we sit on the fence, we're not going right, we're not going left, we're not going up, we're not going down. We are just staying stuck. And the whole reason for this training was to help you identify where you're getting in your own way, where you're getting stuck, and picking one place, just one place that you can start to get yourself unstuck. And if one of the places is having support, I would love to support you. We can even hop on a quick 15-minute chat. I can hear about what is going on with you, and I will be happy to help you make an empowered choice about whether this bundle is a good fit for you or not. All right, I will see you next week for another live training on growing a beautiful boutique coaching business with soul. Thank you again, everybody, for coming here. I'm so, so glad that you guys gave me almost an hour of your time today. I'm grateful, and I will see you next week.